very pleased to have joining us on the hotline the head football coach of the University of Texas, Steve Sarkisian, to join us now. Sark, I appreciate the time. How are you today?
I'm great, Craig. I feel like I haven't talked to you in a while, man. Where you been?
The last time we saw each other was in the tunnel before a basketball game, and you had just come off making your some of the new additions to the coaching staff, and I said, how you like your additions? You said, I love them. And you said, more's the point, people are going to love them. So let me start with that, and then we'll kind of recap your thoughts on the spring. You've talked a little bit about it in your media availabilities. How about your thoughts on the new staff members and how they've integrated themselves well with the team during the spring?
Yeah. I'll start on defense, probably because we've had the most. That was where the majority of the turnover was. And obviously a really a major kind of makeover in the secondary, right? We lost two really good coaches in Blake Gideon and Terry Joseph. And so the idea that we were able to bring Coach Akina back and then to hire two kind of younger coaches who are great coaches, and Mark Orfe and Kenoto Hudson. I just think that combination of coaches back there has been awesome. And Coach Akina, I've heard about his energy and the legend of Coach Akina's energy. It's real, man. This guy's impressive at practice, man. He is flying around and he sets the tone over there. So between he and Johnny Nansen now, we are a high flying group on defense from an energy standpoint. And then we brought in Lee Allen Clark to coach our edge players. And I think that's been a great addition as well, to work with Kenny Baker, who we brought on last year, and PK in the front. So those have been some great additions on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, we brought in Chad Scott to coach the running backs, and I've been super impressed with him. He was a great man, very knowledgeable of the game. There's a reason he was offensive coordinator and running back coach at West Virginia. He's been around some great coaches, and I think anytime you lose a quality coach in Tashard Choice and the rapport that he had with the players, that's probably the biggest concern. And man, the rapport that Coach Scott's brought has been great. And then we brought in some analysts. Obviously Neil Brown on the offensive side of the ball has been an awesome addition. Love having him. He's great for me. Another set of head coach's eyes. You think about when we had Coach Patterson here, we had Coach Christ here. Now we got Neil Brown. They brought in a quarterback coach from the NFL to work with our guys on defense, and Kerry Joseph, who's been a great addition as well. So we brought in some really good people. I think the players have responded to them, which is probably the most important thing. But we're pumped, man. This is a good group of guys that are working well together.
Sark, I was really kind of curious as to whether there was any kind of real discernible change in how you saw the spring practices go, with not having at the end of the road, so to speak, the annual spring game. And we all know what that was all about at the end there, and largely for the fans. But did much change with regard to how you and the staff handled and operated the spring drills for the guys and what they went through with no spring game at the end?
I did adjust a few things, Craig. So I think the first part is this, okay? I signed 25 high school kids, and it was a great class. We all know it was a heck of a signing class. 22 of those 25 guys were on campus in January. They're mid-year admits. Then I signed 5 transfers at the first portal. So that's 27 new faces. And then we just touched on all the new coaches and the new faces on our staff. So the biggest thing probably change that we made, for those that ever watched us practice, we didn't 2-spot any of our team stuff this spring. Everything was on one field. And so we were actually on the field a little bit longer than normal, but it allowed me to watch and see every player, especially the new players. It allowed me to watch and help coach the coaches as they were getting acclimated to our style and what we like to do. And then, to me, it allowed some of our veteran players who have played 30 games the last 2 years to back off kind of their workload a little bit but yet really still focus in on the fundamentals and techniques. And so I think it's been some nice changes and adjustments to what we did. With 2 practices to go, we're looking forward to it that we can maximize these last 2 to go.
You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about that other early signee that I've seen quite a bit of lately. Jonah Williams has been lighting it up in baseball, and I know Schloss and the staff loved him. How about the feedback you've gotten from what Jonah's done on the baseball field?
Well, I think I get the text from Slosh at different times, and the one he sent me the other night was something about this dude's a stud, great competitor. And I wanted to say something. I just said, no kidding. We're going to send him back. But no, I'm excited for Slosh, what he's doing, man. What an incredible job this guy's done. First season with us running that program and dealing with some of the adversity and injuries they're getting faced with, but still, competing and playing at a high level. And what a big series they have this weekend. So pumped for that. I get to throw out the first pitch Friday night too, Craig. I don't know if you know that. I'm fired up about that.
I saw that, and Linda asked me. She said, "Now he used to play baseball?" I said, "Yeah, he was a pretty good baseball player. So I'm sure he won't bounce it in. He'll throw it right across the plate. I'm sure that'll be the case on Friday."
Hey, I saw a video of Sean Miller throwing it though the other night. He looked pretty good. He looked natural too. He did a whole windup.
He did a big, slow overhand curveball, breaking ball. It dropped right in. It would have been a called strike. There's no doubt about it.
It might have gotten hit over the left field fence though if that thing was hanging.
Visiting with Sark for a couple more minutes. All right. The requisite question, obviously, about the quarterbacks, but beyond Arch, I wanted to get your overview on the progress of the position as a whole as you saw it during the course of the spring.
Yeah, I like this room. This is a really competitive quarterback room. These guys, all 3 of them, play their best when we get into scrimmage settings. And that's a great sign that the more intense, the more competitive the drill, their level of play continues to rise. And that's a good sign when it's a bit of an inexperienced room, right? You got one guy who's got a couple starts under his belt and 2 other guys who haven't really played. But it gives me a little bit of a precursor of what I can expect if they get put on the field, that their level of play is going to continue to rise. Now, they're still everybody's got things to work on. They're all at different stages, right? Arch is in year 3, Trey's in year 2, KJ's in his first spring ever. So they're all working on different things. But I love the growth. I love where they're headed. They're all improving. We're fortunate to have the room that we have.
You talked about some of the position needs that you needed filling on both sides of the football. Everybody saw how you really attacked the portal. You've always said it's got to be something to fill a need, not just filling a roster spot for the sake of having a number. So I would imagine you feel really good about the guys you brought in as to where they can provide some pretty quick help for you.
Yeah, I think so. Our numbers were really down at the receiver position, and obviously we addressed that hard in the high school recruiting. We signed 4 high school receivers, but we were a very young room, and our numbers were still low. So to go get Emmett Mosley, I thought was a huge deal for us at receiver. At tight end, I wanted another number, but yet I kept assessing the room. We were a young room again, not any experience really whatsoever. So to be able to go get Jack Endries as an experienced tight end who's a very versatile player, I thought was big for us on that front. And then you looked at it on the defensive front, and what we did there was our numbers were just so low. We just didn't have the numbers on the front that we needed to have. And we love to rotate those guys so they can play at a really high level. And I feel like every guy, we just kind of keep hitting home runs on the right guys that we're getting. And so, with Javon and Murad, like those are huge additions for us to go along with all the other guys we brought in, to go along with the players that are growing up in our program. So we feel good about that unit now.
All right. Before I let you go, I know that there's another addition that you're pretty proud of, and I haven't had a chance to ask you about the addition of Amias to your family, and how excited you are with that young man's addition to your family, your immediate family.
Yeah, super pumped. He's doing great, and keep me young. You know, I'm 51 now, Craig, but you know, I got to stay young. This is a young man's profession, so I'm staying young for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Final thing, and I always ask this at the end when you join us after the spring game. So since there's not a spring game, I'll ask it now about to give fans an idea of the timetable of what you expect from your guys in the off-season workouts before you get to fall camp workouts.
Yeah, so we'll wrap up Saturday with practice, and we got fan day, and I heard you just plug in fan day. We're excited to do that and be able to actually hang with the fans normally longer than we normally would when we just do the autograph signing before the game. Now we can really hang on the field with them. We're going to do that. Next week, our players, you know, they got to finish up school. They got to finish up finals. They got one more week of workouts with Coach Beckton. He's not going to let them, you know, get out on that. And then they're going to get a little bit of time here in the month of May. And, you know, a lot of the guys will stick around. Some will go home and come back. And then we really crank it up June, July. I mean, those 2 months are critical for us as we get ready for August. And so in June and July, a lot of weight training, a lot of running in the heat, a lot of skill development work. And then we'll get ourselves ready for August when we hit the grass for training camp.
Hey, I appreciate you doing this. I look forward to watching that first pitch on Friday night. I'm expecting probably, you know, a chest-high fastball coming in or something like that.
The key to the drill, right? Can I make the catcher's mitt pop?
That's it. And we have a field microphone, so it will pick it up if it's happening there.
We gotta pop the leather, man. That's the key to the drill. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Hey, Sark, thanks for the time. I appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, thanks, buddy. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em. All right. That's Longhorns head coach Steve Sarkisian.